good morning. What are you doing, Frank? I'm pulling out my drawer so he can't jump on my lap. Hi, baby. Good morning. Because he was just outside, and I know his feet are wet. Because it's gray and rainy out. Jump. Come on, jump. Not on my lap. Nope. Back up. Back up. Back up. Anyway, I got in here to talk to you, not to talk to him. I'm getting ready to put on my makeup, but here's one of the things that I really try to do every day, but I haven't been good at it since I got hooked on my phone. I was doing the daily stoics every morning to get me going, and then I started getting sidetracked into comedy, and then I accidentally found a couple what would you call them, therapy online. Like there's one that's called Therapy in a Nutshell, and then I'll compare myself to some of the other ones. And then then I get into watching videos that have nothing to do with me. Now this is speckled in between the ones I need to watch, or I feel like I want to watch, which have to do with certain landscaping things, certain plants, and how to make them grow better, things like that. But I was noticing, and what a gift. Life is such a gift. So weird. So I was thinking, I wonder, because I don't work, I'm in private practice, and I have cut back on my work. So I have all these excuses to check out other therapists online, because it's easy. It's like being a voyeur. I'm just being honest. At first it was, it's curiosity. I want to hear what they have to say about this topic. And then I'm finding out what I'm doing is I started thinking, wow, I am not the nicest therapist. I'm very direct. And I feel like a lot of people have, well, that's a sidetrack. I do that a lot, I know. So anyway, the long story short is I decided to stop comparing myself with other therapists because my technique and their techniques are completely different. The types of clients I get have had therapy like that. The normal, mainstream, classic, traditional, and you can put any kind of label on it you want, but it's just not my brand. My brand is more REBT, Albert Ellis, Alfred Adler, and it's practical, direct. Give you options. How's that working for you? A little bit of sense of humor here and there. So anyway, to segue back into the point I was trying to make is that I realized that's how all these young people are getting so upset and stressed out. They're watching all these videos by accident and then streamlining into comparing themselves. And adolescents don't have the relativity of knowledge to recognize when they're getting sucked in to something that is not helpful. Unless it's helpful, you know what I mean? But when they start getting depressed and heightened anxiety and frustration, isolation and secret keeping, then it's absolutely not helpful. And obviously, that's what's happening with a lot of young people. So I am going to, and here's the other thing I noticed. And the only social media I get on now is YouTube. And that's because I like to share with you because it helps my mental health. A couple of the other consistent other people that I follow is, I told you about Natalie and Rose. And that's because, well, Rose is closer to my age, and we have some of the same fundamental moral and ethical directions based from our world experience. So I like to tap into her because I feel like it reminds me of who I am. Now, Natalie, of course, is young and inspiring. She's a young mom. And I love that cheerfulness that she tries to and live. So that's sweet. Anyway, there are a couple other people I regularly watch, but I want to make a commitment to cutting back on the spinning. There's this guy who's just a hoot, and all he does most of the time is it's his facial expressions, and he incorporates like walking outside to look around, and then he'll show a different video so it looks like he's experiencing what's going on. And he's such a hoot, and he comes out with new material all the time, so it kind of tickles me. But I gotta cut back. It's just and then recently, this is what I was doing last night. I was up late watching these alien videos. They're cartoons, and they tell each other dad jokes. Oh, what's the name of that channel? But if you put it in the search engine, dad jokes aliens, it'll come up. I can't remember the name of that channel, but it should come up. Oh my God, what a hoot. Dad jokes are so much funnier when the person telling the jokes is laughing at it themselves as they're telling it. It's just the funniest thing. Okay, so bottom line is, I'm losing sleep. I got better sleep the last couple nights, but for multiple reasons, I need to cut back on my video time. Most importantly, because I'm not taking the time to read words on paper that are meaningful. When I'm scrolling, it's a gamble on what I'm going to get. Even the Stoic guy got political. I was part of his email, and I'm not going to put his name out there, but he ended up sending out some good stuff. Dang, I really appreciated him. Once a week or so. But then he turned around the last time, and I just unsubscribed and just got off of it. Gosh darn it. I was really disappointed. He sent out a political rant. And I got to tell you, politics is not part of my spirituality. It can affect my spirituality, and I don't like my spirituality affected. And that's what I use Stoicism for, is to help support my spirituality. My spirituality is not about hate. Sorry, it's not. Nope. So I'm missing that little part of my morning. And that, gosh, that's been a while ago. And I've been trying to find a good replacement. But I dug out this book not too long ago, and I read some of it on a live, and I enjoyed it. So it says this book celebrates our multi-layered lives. Imagine a family or a group of women occupying all the roles represented in these pages, relaxing together around a kitchen table. What an enriching scene for all concerned. And that's kind of how I feel when I do these videos. See, I love that one moment. Just that little sentence. Well, long sentence. The energy and innocence of one generation interacting with the maturity and wisdom of the others, feeding each other, nourishing each other, the women interrelating to create a richer, better whole. And then envision all of the roles represented here being naturally internalized within each person present. This is not a vision of an ideal world. This experience is available here and now. All we have to do is look for it, recognize it, and work towards it. And I might even add, create it. Because sometimes if you can't find it, then sometimes we do have to create it. We do have to start looking at, you know, what the heck are you going to do about it kind of thing. So I'm going to read one of the, I'm almost done with the introduction. I'll get there. I'm going to read here. I am going to explain that this book is divided into sections of how to go through different ages in your life, different what do you call it? Phases of your life. So this is called the virgin self, the development self. And it says, after a while you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't always mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes ahead, with the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. And you learn to build all your roads on today, because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if it gets too much. So your plant or your own garden and decorate your soul, your own soul, instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. With the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. Ooh. Oh, there's one more. And you learn that you really can endure. You really are strong. You really do have worth. And you learn. And you learn. And with every goodbye, you learn. That was written by Veronica Schaafstal. And it's called After a While. Or from the book After a While. So good stuff right there. It was beautiful. Reminds me of a conversation I had with a client not too long ago about what would the word be? Acceleration. You know, where you want to excel, move forward in your career, in your reputation. And this has been going on with, I have several professional clients who are young and they're moving forward in their, what's he doing? And they're moving forward in their careers because they just have what it takes, right? So anyway, and I've seen this over the years where women are more than happy with their husbands until they start getting this praise on the job. And that's fine and dandy, but now they're not happy with their spouses. Now their kids aren't quite good enough. Now they're not spending enough money on makeup and clothes and shoes. And the husband's at home going, thinking, what happened to my wife? Or husband or whatever. You know what I mean. So then it's brought up in therapy that they're exhausted. Their spouse is upset with them. And what happens is when a woman is getting fed outside of her purpose, true purpose, like my true purpose as a feminine, I was born a feminine. Some people are born masculine. Some women are more masculine. They're more tomboyish, or they're more manly, or they're more, but I was born feminine, but I hid in my strength and lost my femininity for a long time. I'm tough. I can handle it. But it went against my soul. It was this constant, why can't people see me for who I am? It was because I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. How many times I cried myself asleep, feeling so alone and so unseen. It's because I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. So, the husband's unhappy, the boyfriend's unhappy, the girlfriend's unhappy, whatever. And then the cheating starts. Starts in little ways. We're not going home on time. And then somebody else in the office notices, oh, what's going on? And then you start talking about your relationships with outside people. Yep. And then the family's just not good enough. Usually the spouse, the partner. And why is that? Because now we're worried about how we look. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the dark side. We're not worried about our relationship anymore, our family, our home. Now all of a sudden we don't have good enough. And if the person we're dinking with outside the marriage has more money, more clout, all of a sudden we get very self-centered. And it looks a little like greed. And some of the other 4 horsemen that like to go riding around. Very juicy stuff, I'm telling you. so, then there's unhappiness in the family. Then you don't come home. Or when you do come home, you spend it with the kids and blame the partner for not being good enough. Even for the kids. And that's pretty common. That is the subconscious tools that start coming in. You're not making enough money. You're not doing enough. You're not a good enough dad. Why can't you? So these things start coming up. They're ways to pick a fight to leave the house. Alcoholics do it. That's why switching addictions is very important to notice. If you go from being a drunk and then all of a sudden you're a workaholic, it's not something to be proud of when you have a family. So stop it. Right? But sometimes it's the only coping tool a person has. So I'm not putting down anyone for their addiction. I mean, I can tell you this. Thank God for alcohol and my addiction to it, or I would have died way before I got sober. I think I would have committed suicide many times over if it didn't work. I was so depressed and didn't have any coping skills. So imagine not being an alcoholic or being an alcoholic in recovery and switching addictions, that your image with how successful you are becomes like an addiction. Especially if you didn't come from a family that appreciated you, in your opinion. So that hunt for appreciation gets very strong. It's a lot of reasons why kids join gangs that you would think wouldn't. It's because their family's not around. If the mom's not around the house to welcome the kids home from school, to see if they want a snack, to hang out, to help them with their homework, to nest with them, it affects kids. And I'm not trying to judge anybody's parenting. I'm not. I'm just trying to say, people get hypnotized by the headiness of greed and pride that they forget their base reason, their sole reason for being here. Like I said, mine is more feminine, to be, to lift others up. And to spread the truth that love is the answer. Like the Beatles said, love is the answer. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. That's the truth. And self-discipline. If you don't have love, that's a shame. If you don't have self-discipline, you can't keep love. You can't keep sanity. You have to have some self-discipline. Just like me watching all those videos. I'm going to have to up my game on self-discipline. That's all there is to that. I'm not stupid. I know the answer. It's having the self-discipline follow through. I've been feeling so much better since I've cut back. And now I realize not only do I need to cut back, let's review this. I'm not getting good, sound, thoughtful material in my head to keep me on track on the goals that I have, right? And I'm catching it before I get way off track. And I don't know if I have the ability to get way off track anymore because I'm so committed, capital C, committed to my lifestyle. And there are a lot of people who aren't. They don't know how to be. They weren't raised or, trained in what that looks like and the rewards of it. So what are you going to do? I don't know. It's up to you. But I can tell you, the strokes at the office are not going to save your relationship. And I know personally and professionally that that's true. I have wasted several relationships because when I got sober, I thought I had so much life to make up for. I needed to catch up with my finances. I needed to catch up with, building a career, blah, 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 blah. And you can tell just by the way I'm saying it, it was very heady. It wasn't about, wow, I need to stick to basics throughout the rest of my life to make sure I'm fed and hopefully have enough left over to feed others. It's a spiritual. You know what? I'm going to overdo my blushes today. I'm going to put some sun in here. I've been out in the sun, and I deserve to look like it. Where's my eyebrows? How much time do I have? Do I have time for my whole eyebrow thing? This stuff is pretty cool. I'm going to try it again. I don't really have that much time, but I'm going to see if I can do it. Yeah. It's not a very good design, but it's a eyebrow gel, and it has a brush at the end. I'm not going to use a brush, but I'm going to use this brush, and I'm going to brush the hairs down so I can get a line. This is nerve-wracking. Okay, so anyway, what I was going to say is, if you're unhappy with your life, you can give yourself a break and just try to decide if you're living, working your true belief system. Sorry, my nose hardly itch. You have to decide if you're actually, are you being committed to your honest to goodness belief system? And if you don't know, it might be time to review it. Review what your beliefs are. If you, it's so funny too. I had a gal who was cheating on her husband with some higher up at work, and she was so dang flattered, and so we were discussing all her moral standards, and I said, if someone told me they had those moral standards and they were willing to cheat with me, do you think I would believe that really was their moral standards? I mean, she might have been able to win over that guy, but not those were not her true moral standards, or she wouldn't be doing them. She would be committed to them and doing everything she could to not do them or go outside of them. Okay. I have so many scars. It's just so much easier to not do all this and just use the brush, you know, although I love this look and I like the color. I like the look of full young, because full eyebrows help make you look younger. And I think that's so funny. I'm not fighting my age, but it's just fun to play with, dink around. Makeup's so fun. Well, to a certain extent, I just messed that all up, and I really didn't have time to do that. And my brain told me, you don't have time for that. But did I do it? Did I do it anyway? Yes, I did. Oh, well. What are you going to do? All right. So, bottom line is, I don't know. Maybe it's because COVID is lifting. Everybody's activities getting more busy. But people are starting to misbehave recently. And I'm just telling you, look out, because there's a high price to pay for divorce. There's a high price to pay for purposely falling out of love with your significant other. You don't have to fall out of love with your significant other. You can stop looking outside the marriage and be loyal. That is, if, you know, he's worthy. I'm not saying not that, I mean, some people would need a divorce. I'm not saying anything other than that. But come on, if someone who's halfway decent is trying to be in your life, and by halfway decent, I mean, you know what I mean. They have morals. They have a lot in common. They're not a challenge every single minute of the day. Ugh. Oh, but we get so bored. He's so boring. I don't care if he's boring. I want to know that he's a good man. Oh, those years wasted. Because I wanted somebody more exciting. I wanted that chemistry. I didn't want to settle for anything less. So, most of my broken hearts were over dangerous men. Oh, I just really messed that up. You know, sometimes you just gotta know when to stop. That's it. I will clean this up and get on with my day. Oh my gosh. See. Oh, that's so sad. Well, what are you gonna do? Oh no, there's more makeup. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for keeping me company. And I guess today for me is about being committed to my way of life. Whether it's perfect or not, it's about being committed. Capital C. So maybe make a list today of the things that you're committed to. Is there anything in particular that you're committed to that you might be able to crank up the volume a little bit? You know, maybe prove it to yourself and to someone else that you're committed to, whatever. I'm going to get rid of, I have a small home, so tabletops get filled quickly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to reorganize this weekend And I am going to have thoughtful reading material set out. I have some beautiful books that I wouldn't mind rereading at all, even if it's just a page or two or paragraph, like this one. I mean, what a beautiful little reading that helped get me on the right track, or help remind me of who I am and how I want to feel more than what I want to do. I don't think it's important that you save the world. I think it's important that you live well without hurting others. And, you know, broken hearts can be for a lifetime with some people. And I have broken some hearts. And I do know, weirdly, yay, most of them have been gone on to find amazing women to be partnered with. They weren't as dumb as I was. They were able to learn from their mistake. Some people aren't able to do that. They'll do the same thing over and over and over again. Gosh. So, but not everyone is as hard-headed as me. Oh, what's that? Looks like some fallout. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, thank you so much for keeping me company. I would love to just get a comment, a hello. That would be awesome. I hope y'all are having a great day. And yep, I'm going to keep this here on my makeup table. And maybe I'll have the self-discipline to just read you a paragraph to give me a topic. Because sometimes I get in front of the camera and I completely forget about a great topic I had the day before. So that would be helpful. Now I have to start writing some things down. Or tell me what you'd like to hear about. Anything that has to do with mental health, or heck, I'll even Google a topic if I don't know about it myself. But I'll tell you, but I'm very opinionated when it comes to mental health. When you mix the true science with pseudoscience and then with spirituality, and you say, why is it so hard? Well, if you understand the physiology of it, that's why it's hard. If you didn't have a childhood where you got trained at an early age to bend a certain way, like a tree, you can shape bonsai trees. That's what it's like. It's like we're little bonsai trees, and if you don't get shaped when you're little to be a beautiful human, something happens. Oh, excuse me. Up too late. All right, love you all. Bye for now.